Hello friends, welcome to my channel. Today in this video I am going to discuss postmodern age, which is also known as postmodernism. I covered all the ages before that and we discuss modern age, and now we'll discuss postmodern age. And as far as beginning of this age is concerned, it begins after World War II, and we'll discuss this age in detail. So we'll begin by introduction of this age. What does this postmodernism mean? So it began in late 20th century, and so there was a shift in style and concepts in art, architecture, criticism that represent the departure from modernism. So a change or shift took place and modernism started. So it's a moment in architecture influence of international style, encouraging the use of elements from historical informal styles and often playful illusions, decorations, and complexity. So this is the background of postmodernism, and so typically it is marked by revival of historical elements and techniques. And now we'll discuss postmodern literature. So the literature of postmodernism or postmodern age was heavily reliant on techniques like fragmentation, paradox, we'll discuss them in detail, and questionable narrators, and often define a style or trend which emerged in post World War II, which took place from 1939 to 45. And postmodern works are seen as reaction against Enlightenment thinking and modernist approaches to literature. And now we'll see characteristics of this age. So there was more use of irony, playfulness, and black humor was there. Black humor, a literary device used to discuss taboo things in taboo. Taboo is something that is restricted there, but this postmodernist writer, they use this technique of black humor to discuss taboo in comedy. And another literary technique is pastiche, which is also known as imitation. So basically what they do, they combine or paste or imitate the parody of past styles, and then this is combination of multiple genres. And another important characteristics is intertextuality, which means shaping of text meaning by another text. You can say in simple words that it's a combination of text. You can get the meaning of one text using another text. So basically an example of intertextuality technique used is in Don Quixote by George Louis Borges. And another technique is metafiction. It's a prose style and it occurs in stories, and it examines the elements of fiction itself. For example, the story explores how stories are made by combining the characters types. So this technique is also used. And another important technique is historiographical metafiction, and this is the fiction writing is self-consciously and systematically draws a connection to its own status and its artificial artifact in order to pose questions about relationship between fiction. And another important technique is temporal distortion. So the word temporal refers to timeline or chronology, you can say. So distortion refers to use of nonlinear timelines and narrative techniques in a story. So these are characteristics of postmodernism or postmodern writing. So another important technique that is technoculture and hipperreality. So this means that this inability of consciousness to distinguish reality from simulations of reality, especially in technological age. And another technique, paranoia. Paranoia is you can say it's a threat of engulfment by someone else system, or it's a fear that prevailed through the Cold War, because the war, Second World War takes place and they were influenced by that, so it reflects the fear in their writing or in their literature. That is paranoia. And maximalism means the fiction wrought in long and complex style. And minimalism, that is opposite of just that, and a story brief fiction. Okay. And fiction, you can say fiction plus fact is equal to fiction, so it treats real people or events as if they are fiction. And magical realism is also used. So magical realism, another literary technique in which writers use fantasy or magical elements and combine them with reality. So these are the most popular characteristics or technique used by the postmodernist. Now we'll see the transition from modernism to postmodernism by comparing these ages. And so first begin so we'll differentiate from modernism and postmodernism on the basis of many aspects. The first is date, and modernism early 20th century, postmodernism after Cold War, after World War II, 1945. And postmodernism was based on using rational logic means to gain knowledge, but postmodernists denied this concept of logical thinking. And modernism was characterized by hierarchical and organized and determinate nature of knowledge, whereas postmodernism was based on anarchical, non-totalized and indeterminate state of knowledge. And modernism approaches was objective, theoretical and analytical, whereas postmodernism approach was based on subjectivity. And modernism search of an abstract truth of life, whereas in postmodernism they believe that there is no universal truth. And as far as art and literature is concerned, art and literature in modernism were considered as unique creation of artists, whereas in postmodernism the media and advancement in technology, industrial revolution, scientific revolution, so all these become dominant in society. And now we'll discuss the prominent literary figures, postmodernist authors. The first one is Kurt Vonnegut. Kurt Vonnegut, indeed a very prominent figure, and he was from United States. This is his family background and early life, and he enlisted in the US Army in 1943, and he became a prisoner of war in World War II. And his famous quote include, "We must be careful about what we pretend to be." And these are some more of his quotes. And postmodernist work include Samuel Beckett, another important name in postmodernism, and his important work is in the absurd play Waiting for the Godot. That is very important absurd play of Samuel Beckett. Another names and Molly Melondice, Unnameable. And Kurt Vonnegut work include Slaughterhouse-Five and Mark Z. Danny Leswetsky, House of Leaves. These are important writers in their work. Breakfast of Champions by Kurt Vonnegut, another important work of his. And then another important literary figure is George Louis Borges, and his work is Labyrinth. and Joseph Heller, another important writer of this age, and his work is Catch-22, which is a novel, and Thomas Pynchon, his work Gravity's Rainbow, and we'll see David Foster Wallace, his work is Infinite Jest, and then Bret Easton Ellis, American Psycho, his work, his novel, and so this there are some more details. So these are literary works of postmodernism, and it's the contemporary age, and still work has been done on literature. And so this is the present and contemporary age. I hope you understand. If you want details, I provide you notes in the description. Thank you for watching.